So I think you cannot compare to those two markets because the pure scale in India is something you never ever will reach in the European market because the systems are different. If you have to serve 600, 700 million concurrent on your streaming platform, you need different system in place. But there's one common thing which fits on every market. You want to have the best possible product for your customers. And there is no change between the European market and the Indian market. It's the same. You want to serve your customer as best as possible on a fan experience, user experience. And no matter what, if you're having 10 million households or 600 million households, the principle is the same. That's why, like size-wise, it is impossible to compare. But from the principle and the common sense, what we want to deliver for our fans and customers, it's the same. I think the complexity, which we always can't reach, and by the way, we cannot imagine how much it is really complex to have a market where you have to serve 600, 700 million people at the same time. So with reliability, I would guess nearly 100%. So I think this makes the complexity in the Indian market, whereas in Europe, you have a smaller scale, but nevertheless, you have the same ambition with the same reliability. So what I would say is don't start to compare it, learn from each other in a way of, okay, how is it possible to bring a product to so many people versus maybe there are other things which you can learn from the European market by saying, okay, you are on the different market perspective. There's more cost per minute pressure probably than in the Indian market, why Europeans are doing more automation than maybe the Indian market. So there are a couple of learnings, and I think I would rather focus on that instead of saying, okay, what is the size of the business? Because this is something, it is not fair to compare. I think which really translate is the digital first approach and bringing the best possible user experience on products. This entirely resonates with the European perspective, I would say. There is no difference. Again, there is a need of transforming into digital first. There is a different structure maybe still in the European environment by saying, okay, you reach more people via cable or satellite. And there's maybe not the need immediately transform to a digital first approach because the entire business model sits on cable, satellite, and the different setup boxes. But I think this is something we can really learn from the Indian market, how India is approaching the digital first, how they translate the product into coming to life on mobile devices. And what we can learn from that is how workflows which are used in the Indian market could be copy and paste maybe for the European infrastructure. And I think this is a conversation we have to start, and we have to learn more how the best, I would say, the best practice out of the Indian market to see what is best practice here, what is working, what doesn't work, and bring a kind of a mixed model into the European market. I hope, and this is a mindset shift, you enable your producers to be more creative rather than saying, okay, you're cutting things. You give them more tools, give them more things to think about, give them more enablement to tell the story in a much better way. On top of it, you can use data, you can use any other thing which enriches the story much better. So I think if we are playing this very smart by saying, use the interface and don't think about what's happening in the background, because this is not interesting. Focus on your creativity. You have tons of tools, you can collaborate. If you're a producer, a traditional producer, you want to collaborate with your digital colleagues, push the button, and then you can immediately have content what the digital people are producing or social media and enrich everything for your story. So story sense is in the center of everything, and software enables more creativity, I think, also AI. So that's why I truly believe it's more about how we are telling the story for the storytellers to use the tools in the best possible way. Yeah, my thoughts, I mean, I'm a big fan of the SVG community because I truly believe in times where everything is super fragmented, unclear, uncertain, new technology player coming into the play, SVG can give a kind of a home for thoughts, a home for networking, a home for sharing ideas, sharing problems, challenges, thinking about what works in, for instance, in the US market, what can we use in the European market, what works in the Indian market, what doesn't work, and share experience. I think this is a great platform, especially if you are dealing with this all fragmented pieces in your entire ecosystem and you have to bring it together to one workflow, one idea. You can have a lot of smart people within the SVG community, which you can ping, ask for thoughts, for support, for help, for collaboration in the community, which is best in class. And events like the SVG India Summit is an evidence of how you can bring smart people to India and talking about tons of other things, which is good.